everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annelies and today I will be doing a tag video called What's Your Fragrance Personality? This tag video was created by Simply Aisha. I will put her channel information in the description below, but thank you, Aisha, for this fun idea. So the idea of this video is Aisha, or Simply Aisha, created 13 questions that we are supposed to answer, and then we tag other YouTubers who have to answer those questions in their turn and so forth. And I actually already made this video with my designer fragrances, or mostly designer fragrances. If you want to watch that, I will also link it up here and in the description below. But today I thought it would be fun to do a Zara edition. So I will be answering all these questions with Zara fragrances. But first, if you like these types of videos, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I make mostly fragrance related videos and mostly Zara fragrance related videos. So reviews, especially when Zara releases new fragrances, then I am one of the first ones, or at least I'm trying to be one of the first ones to review them. By the way, they actually released 4 new fragrances yesterday. Obviously, I ordered them. They are supposed to arrive on Friday, so hopefully I can get the video up by Sunday. So yeah, if that's something you want to watch, subscribe to my channel and let's just get started with the video of today. So like I said, there are 13 fragrance related questions, and the first question is, what is your boss babe scent? For this question, I chose Fashionably London. This is a very bold rose fragrance. It's pretty sharp and pretty harsh, and I know those are sort of negative terms, but I still think it is very, very impressive. This is not a typical, if you haven't bought Zara fragrances in the recent few years, then you probably still think that Zara fragrances are sort of cheap smelling, they don't last, they're very simple and basic. Not this one. This one was created by Jo Malone. If you don't know this already, Zara and Jo Malone actually have created several fragrance lines together. And this one comes from the Vibrant Cities line. I think it was released last year in 2022. And it's a bold rose, like I said. And the rose is similar-ish, so don't take it too literally. But it's a similar type of rose like in Parfum de Marly Delina. But it doesn't have that sort of fruitiness that Delina has. This is more of a dry rose. The notes in here are musk, rose, and bergamot. And I think this is a boss babe scent, as that rose, there's something about it that makes me think of this woman who is in control of herself, who knows her worth, a woman who is like not easily intimidated by other women or by men in the business. She knows who she is and nobody should underestimate her. This is that type of fragrance. So you do need some sort of, it's hard to explain, but that's just the vibe that I'm getting with this type of rose fragrance. So because you don't get that fruitiness that you have in Delina, that lychee, the pear, no fruitiness in this one. And that's just, I don't know, if I smell this, I sort of imagine this woman in a pantsuit. But if you were to wear this at the office, I do have to mention, you cannot overspray this one. So is it office friendly? Only if you spray 2 times max and you're the boss or the CEO or the manager. Then it's okay, but it's not really a super easygoing fragrance. It's there. If you wear this and you had a meeting in a conference room and you leave the room, people will be able to know that you were in that room hours after you've been in there. So do not overspray it, but if you only spray it 2, maybe 3 times, I think you're good to go. And I think you have a very office, like office chic type of fragrance. So yeah, my Zara Boss Babe fragrance was Fashionably London. The next question is, what is your go-to bedtime scent? Now, as I've mentioned in my other video, I don't wear fragrances to bed. I know that's a thing in the fragrance community, but I have tried it and I just don't really like it. But if I did, I have an idea of what that might be, and that is Zara's Friday Freaking Gorgeous. This is one of the weekly mood fragrances that have already been discontinued, I know, but you can probably still find it. I feel like they've been discounted for a while on the website and they're still there, so I'm thinking they have quite a lot of stock and they're not really able to get rid of it. So yeah, it's super cheap now. But this is a very soft, almondy, almost like a body lotion type of fragrance. By the way, I reviewed the entire weekly mood collection. If you're still interested in watching that, I will link it up here and in the description. But yeah, this one, like I said, it reminded me of a nice body lotion that really hydrates my skin. Something that you put on after you've taken a bath or a shower and you're just ready to get all cozy in your bed and read a book or watch some Netflix or whatever. So a very cozy fragrance, if you ask me. It is very close to the skin. It's a very subtle fragrance. You can just wear this outside of your bed, obviously, but you're not really gonna have a strong scent bubble or scent trail, or people will probably not even be able to smell you. I thought it was very, very light, and that is the reason why I don't own mine anymore. It was just too light for me. I couldn't really smell myself. But for going to bed, I actually think that's better than a strong smelling fragrance, as you know, I can imagine you don't really want to get up in the middle of the night when you have to go to the bathroom or something and you smell like fragrance. I don't know, I don't like that, so this one is fine. This is subtle and it's super cozy. It mostly has some soft notes, like I said, almond, musk, it has some lily of the valley, a little bit of tonka. Just, you know, not those super harsh notes that you can smell all night, so that is why I think that's a great one. And yeah, that is Friday Freaking Gorgeous. The third question is, what is your hug in a bottle? And when I saw that question, I immediately thought of Captivatingly Paris, also created by Jo Malone, also from the Vibrant Cities line. I don't own mine anymore and I'm sort of regretting it. It is back on the list of fragrances that I might purchase again, but it's basically a pretty fruity, musky rose. So it's a different type of rose than Fashionably London. That is pretty bold and harsh and dry. This one is more soft and a little bit more girly, sweet, comforting. The first time I actually smelled this fragrance, I imagined someone wearing a super soft, fluffy sweater wearing this fragrance. So yeah, if I were to hug someone and they wore Captivatingly Paris, I would really like that scent on someone. It's a very crowd-pleasing scent. It's very inoffensive. It's actually very reminiscent to Irresistible by Givenchy. If you like that type of fragrance, I think you're gonna like Captivatingly Paris. The next question is, what is your weapon of mass seduction? And this fragrance is one that I haven't been wearing that much of, and it's a shame because it's a very sexy, feminine, seductive fragrance, and that is Rose Gourmand. Again with the rose, but this time the rose is combined with some vanilla, and it makes it a lot more sweet and sultric, and it's not dry or harsh, it's not fruity. It's a warm, feminine fragrance. This is actually a dupe for Intense Café by Montal or Roses Vanille by Mancera, which I know are both unisex fragrances, but if you ask me, I still think this is very feminine. Oh, I'm gonna wear this so much this winter. I haven't worn it at all last winter because I wasn't really into fragrances that long when I got this, and I bought like maybe 40 fragrances in 2 months or so. So I was just trying so many new ones and wearing different ones, and I really haven't given this one many chances yet, but the times that I have worn it, I found it to be a very strong fragrance. It lasted, it projected. I felt very feminine and almost sexy when wearing this. That's weird to say, but yeah, that's how I felt. This one really shines in the colder months. I remember the very first time that I've tried it, but that was just in store. I just sniffed the bottle, or I think I sprayed it on my wrist. I did that in summer and I did not like this fragrance at all. I was like, wow, why is this so popular? It's like, ugh. I think I actually scrubbed it off even, but I've tried it in summer. Bad idea. You need to wear this in the fall, and even, you know, when fall is getting pretty cold, depending on where you live, obviously, but where I live, fall isn't really that cold just yet. But I will start to wear this when it starts to get colder out, when I'm really wearing a wool coat. I'm gonna drowse myself in this. I'm gonna smell amazing. So like I said, performs best in cold weather. Very feminine, very sexy fragrance, and yeah. If you ask me, a great weapon of mass seduction. So that is Rose Gourmand. What is a fragrance you never wear, but you just can't part with? So you have this fragrance and you just can't let it go, even though you don't wear it. And for me, that is Sublime Epoch, which is a dupe for Armani My Way. And I do really think this smells very nice. If you follow my channel, you probably already know that I'm a sucker for florals and white florals in particular. And my holy trinity, I know this is in so many designer fragrances, but I do like that designer DNA. My holy trinity is orange blossom, jasmine, and tuberose. I really love those florals, especially when they're combined. And this is the case for this fragrance. So they have those three and then some bergamot. So, you know, it's something that I would think I would love, and it's just a like for me. I think it has a little bit of a candy scent. And as much as I love tuberose, I don't really like it when it's too... I know everybody speaks of bubblegummy tuberoses, and I get it. Like, if it smells like candy, then I'm sort of put off just a little, but I don't think it's super, super candy-like, but there's just that little bit of candy smell that maybe makes me not gravitate towards this fragrance. But I still think it's a super nice fragrance, so I don't know what it is, but I can't seem to let it go. I also think it performs really well. I have given this a wear, and I was able to smell myself the entire time. So yeah, nice fragrance, but I just don't wear it, and I don't know, it sort of breaks my heart to let it go. So I'm just gonna keep it for a while. You know what? I'm going to keep this until next spring, and if I haven't worn it next spring, then it has to get decluttered. But for now, I'm just keeping it in my collection. That is Sublime Epoch. What is one of your favorite fragrances that you don't wear enough? So this is pretty similar to the previous question, but the one that I thought of is called Memorable Aura. This was released earlier this year, and it's a pretty close dupe to Paco Rabanne's Fame. So it's super nice. It's very, very designery, like a typical designer fragrance. But again, I like that, so I don't mind. But if you want something very original, I don't think you're gonna like it. In short, this is a sweet, somewhat floral, fruity fragrance. The fruit in here is mango. It's very detectable. You definitely get that creamy tropical mango in here, but done in a very non-realistic way. So it sort of smells like a mango tropical hair mask or body lotion or something like that, but something that you would wear when you're on vacation. And I remember when I first got it and I gave it a sniff that I really, really loved it. I think I went like, oh wow, because it's really nice. It's super crowd pleasing. I think this is very, it's generic. I'm not gonna lie. It's a very generic fragrance, but not in a bad way. It's just something that I think a lot of people would really like, including myself. Yet I haven't really been grabbing it. Now I have to say, I also got myself Soleil Blanc by Tom Ford last summer, and that is my favorite summer fragrance. So I have been constantly wearing that one whenever I wanted something summery, tropical. Not that it's really tropical, but it's a coconut fragrance. This is like tropical mango fragrance. But I think that's the reason why I didn't really gravitate towards this one, although it's kind of a shame because it's just a very nice... I'm gonna start wearing this. But you know, we're fall now, so I don't really think it's appropriate for this season. But I think when spring hits, I'm gonna start wearing this. Like I said with Sublime Epoch, it's just a shame because it really is a nice fragrance. But yeah, that is Zara Memorable Aura. What is a fragrance that you would recommend to a beginner who wants to smell unique? So Zara has a lot of beginner-friendly fragrances. I think they have a lot of non-beginner friendly fragrances as well. So they're not like they used to be, all easygoing, crowd-pleasing fragrances. Now they have both. I think Zara has some niche smelling fragrances as well, which is generally a little bit less beginner friendly. But the fragrance that I chose is actually super unique. I don't have any fragrance that smells like this, but it's still easygoing enough to recommend to a beginner. And that is Les Heures Passent from the Minimal collection that was launched earlier this year. Of course, I've made a video about that. I will link it up here and in the description. But yeah, this one is so unique. I am really applauding Zara for this fragrance. I think it's so unique. It smells so nice. And I describe this fragrance as a tepid tea with ginger, cinnamon, bergamot. And it is just, I think it is absolutely a beautiful fragrance. It's fresh, but also warm and comforting. It's light, it's soft, it's just so nice. I'm really, really highly impressed with this fragrance. And unfortunately, I saw that Zara chose to already discontinue this one as well. But like with the Weekly Mood collection, this one has also been in the discounted section for a while now, and I feel like they still have a lot of stock. So if you want to get your hands on it, it's very cheap at the moment. It was already cheap, but it's even cheaper now. I think a big bottle is only 13 euros, which is about, I don't know. I didn't check the prices in dollars, but yeah, do check it out. I think it's super, super nice. It's actually pretty similar to, what's it called? I will put the name down below, but yeah, that's a men's fragrance that is actually pretty similar to this one. So if you have that one, you probably don't need this one, but if you don't know what that one smells like and you can choose between the two, I would go for Les Heures Passent. Okay, I just looked up the name, and the other one is called Sunrise on the Red Sand Dunes. So those two, both by Zara, pretty similar. But yeah, I prefer this one. I think it's slightly more feminine leaning, even though they're both pretty unisex. Yeah, oh, you need to try this one. It is so gorgeous. But yeah, that is what I would recommend to a beginner who wants to smell unique, and that was Les Heures Passent. What is a fragrance you love, but everybody seems to hate? This one I found pretty difficult, as I'm not really sure if there's a Zara fragrance that seems to get more hate than the other fragrances. So I kind of have two fragrances, but I don't know if I'm really answering the question. But in my other video where I did my designer fragrances, I mentioned Good Girl by Carolina Herrera, that I really love and a lot of people seem to hate. So For this edition, for the Zara edition, I chose Deep Garden, which is a dupe for Good Girl by Carolina Herrera. Herrera. I don't really think this is a full-blown dupe, but it's definitely reminiscent of Good Girl. You can't deny it. Although this one is a little bit more light and fresh, whereas original Good Girl is more deep and warm. But I still really love this one as well. And I have no idea if this one gets hate or is in general disliked by other people. But yeah, because it smells like Good Girl, that a lot of people think is a little bit trashy smelling or overdone. I'm still in love with that fragrance, so I still love my Deep Garden. I actually don't really need both, but yeah, I have this one now. I'm not gonna get rid of it just because I have the original. I mean, it's such a small bottle, it's cheap. I'm just gonna keep it in my collection. And it's easy to bring with me to reapply if I'm wearing Good Girl, even though original Good Girl does not need reapplying, but I still always bring this one with me in my I bring this one in me. Yikes. I still bring this one with me in my purse if I do feel the need to reapply a little bit. But yeah, that's Deep Garden. I'm also gonna mention another one with this question, and that is Ebony Wood. Another collaboration with Jo Malone. This time it's from the Emotions line that I think this was also 2022 or 2021. I actually think it's from 2021. But this is not hated by any means, so I'm not really answering the question. I think this is a fantastic fragrance. It is very unique. It is very niche smelling, but I can imagine that this is sort of a love or hate type of fragrance. So I do think, even though it's been talked about quite a lot because a lot of people love it, I really think a lot of people highly dislike this fragrance as well. I think I saw a comment on one of my earlier videos from someone saying it reminded them of Old Man, like an old man cologne. And even though I don't really get that, I know what she means. So it does have a bit of a, you know, it's not a crowd pleaser or anything, but I think it's fantastic. But yeah, you're either in team amazing or team yuck. So yeah, just wanted to mention this one as well. That was Ebony Wood. What is an overhyped fragrance that you own? Again, I'm not really following the rules because I don't own it anymore, as I really don't like it. But I have to choose this one, and that is Red Temptation and Red Temptation Elixir. These are the famous dupes for Baccarat Rouge 540. Well, not the only famous dupes, there are so many dupes, but the famous Zara dupes for Baccarat Rouge 540. So you have original Red Temptation, which is, it smells very similar to Baccarat Rouge, but it does have a lot of mossiness and earthiness that I'm not getting in the original one. And then you have Red Temptation Elixir, which I also gave a try. So I have owned both at a particular point in time, but I did declutter, so I'm kind of not really following the rules. But the Elixir was very similar smelling, but it had a little bit more of a, I found it to be dusty smelling. And I don't know what note that was or why I picked up something dusty, like almost a little bit BO-ish. So both of them I don't like. I got rid of them, but they are very, very hyped up. So I don't know if I would say overhyped, as you know, something gets hyped because a lot of people love it. So maybe it's not really overhyped, but it is definitely a hyped fragrance that is just not for me. I think it's yeah, the earthiness, the mossiness of those Red Temptations, I just can't deal with it. And also I'm a little bit tired of smelling that DNA. So yeah, that's just my opinion. But of course, you know, a lot of people love it, so don't be offended just because I don't like it. But yeah, that's Red Temptation and Red Temptation Elixir by Zara. What is a fragrance you have on the chopping block? The chopping block means a fragrance that we are going to declutter. And for me, that one is True Amore. Again, a rose fragrance. So I do seem to gravitate towards rose fragrances, or Zara just makes a lot of rose fragrances. But yeah, this one is also very similar to Delina. It's probably more similar to Delina than Fashionably London, which is also, it's not a dupe, it's not that close, but it's definitely reminiscent of. This one I think is almost close enough to be called a dupe, even though I've always felt that True Amore smells like if Delina and Flora Botanica by Balenciaga had a baby. This would come out. So it is Delina reminiscent, but also Flora Botanica, and I don't like either one of those fragrances. So the first time that I sprayed this, I actually went, this is nice, this is beautiful. And then, you know, every time I picked up the bottle and gave it a sniff, I sort of found myself not really loving it. And then every time I picked it up to sniff it, I felt like I liked it even less than the times before. So even though it's not a hate or anything, I don't highly dislike this fragrance, that's not the case, but there's just something about it that is not really working for me. And I think it's the grapefruit in here. I don't know, it sort of smells, sort of gives me a headache. It's something sharp. I think it's too sharp for me. Like a grapefruit, I actually love grapefruit, but a grapefruit is as delicious as I think it is, also has sort of a sharpness. So whenever I've eaten a grapefruit, I do feel like the inside of my mouth is sort of tingly. Do you know what I mean? Or if you have some juice on your lips, it sort of stings the skin. And I kind of feel like this fragrance also sort of does that. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but that's just what I'm thinking. Oh. So yeah, not a bad fragrance by any means. If you like Delina, check this one out. But yeah, I'm just not gonna be wearing it. I don't hate it, like I said, but it's just really not for me. And I might as well just declutter it, as I'm just not gonna wear it. So that was True Amore. What is the last fragrance you purchased? I actually ordered the 4 new ones that Zara came out with yesterday. So technically those are the last ones, but I can't talk about them as I have not tried them and I have not received them yet. So the last one that I bought that I do have in my collection is Rich, Warm, Addictive. And this is from the tobacco collection. Well, actually Zara has a new tobacco collection now in the men's department. I also reviewed it. I will put it up here and in the description. But this is from an other tobacco line, also from the men's section. So you will find this in the men's section, not in the women's. But it is absolutely 100% unisex. And even though I'm not really a gourmand lover or a lover of very sweet fragrances, doesn't really make sense for me to like this one, but I do. I really, really like it. By the way, you need to check because I've noticed that Zara has re-released this one and reformulated it several times. So if you get it, like I'm assuming now in stores is the latest edition from 2021, I think. But they've also had some earlier editions that were terrible in performance. Mine is actually fine in performance. I would say average at least. So it's really, really good. It is long lasting. It does project. If you feel like yours doesn't, you really need to check if you have the latest edition. But yeah, a very, very sweet fragrance. I mostly get honey, vanilla. Rum is definitely very prominent, so it is boozy, okay? It's a very boozy, sweet, warm, rich fragrance. The name is very suitable. The bottle is chosen perfectly because it smells like the way the bottle looks. And it's also a very cozy fragrance, also perfect for fall and winter. It's yeah, I'm surprised at how much I like this one, even though I wouldn't typically go for these types of fragrances. This one is new in my collection and definitely one to stay. So that is Rich, Warm, Addictive. What fragrance is on top of your wish list? I had to think about this one as I don't really have a Zara wish list since I just buy the ones that I want to buy. I think, you know, the prices are so low that I'm not really having fragrances on my wish list or having to think about them. And whenever they have new ones, I just order all of them so I can review them for you, but also because I kind of want to have them myself. So yeah, this one was tricky, but then it hit me. There is a Zara fragrance that is very popular. It has been discontinued for quite a while now and I've never smelt it. And it is called a Sweet Pastry in Paris. This fragrance supposedly is a sweet vanilla with lemon type of fragrance. And that seems to be a DNA that is pretty popular these days. We have Devotion by Dolce & Gabbana, Baked by Acro, Unknown Pleasures, Lyra by Xerjoff. I mean, I feel like this type of fragrance is more popular than ever. And I also noticed that this particular fragrance is being sold on secondhand platforms such as probably Mercari, but we don't have that here. We have Vinted. And I have found it, but they are asking for ridiculously high prices. I refuse to pay more than the original price. Maybe I would pay the original price plus the shipping, that's fine. But yeah, I'm just not gonna do that. But I have been feeling intrigued by that fragrance. Please let me know if you've tried a Sweet Pastry in Paris. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Is it worth getting even though they are asking high prices for it, or is it similar to the other ones that I mentioned like Devotion? I would love to hear, so let me know in the comments. But yeah, if I have to choose one that would be on my wish list, it is a Sweet Pastry in Paris. What is your #1 fragrance for life? This one was very easy. My #1 go-to fragrance by Zara for life is Golden Decade. I have 2 backup bottles after this bottle, so I'm good. But yeah, if you don't know already, this is a dupe for Libre Intense. I think it is absolutely beautiful. I cannot get enough of this fragrance. This one was one of the first ones that I've tried when I just started my fragrance journey. And I fell in love with it immediately. I hadn't actually smelled Libre Intense before I smelled this one. So this one was my first discovery with that particular DNA. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I'm in love with it. This is definitely a lifer for me. And if I were to choose only one fragrance for life from Zara, hands down, there's no discussion needed, it would be Golden Decade. By the way, you have Golden Decade Winter now. That is a little bit of a variation of this one. I don't think they're very different. They do smell extremely similar. And if you have that one, you don't need this, and vice versa. I have compared the two side by side. So if you want to watch that video, I will link it up here and down below. Sorry for the shameless self-promotion. But yeah, this one was easy for me. If you follow my channel, you probably already know that. But yeah, that is Golden Decade. And we've reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think of these fragrances, and if you are going to make a tag video as well, let me know in the comments. I will definitely watch yours as well. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks again, and I will see you for the next one. Bye!